Hi everyone, welcome to the first week's lectures, and we're going to start with an overview of health informatics management as well as project management in our first two lectures. Please let me know if you have any questions at all. I can always be reached through email or through Canvas. HIM5112 Design and Decision Making Week 1. Let's start with an overview. Our agenda is to go through the learning objectives. We'll talk about an introduction to this course. I'd like you to introduce yourself to each other and to me. This video will contain the first lecture for Week 1, which will be an introduction to the information systems that you need to know for health informatics design and decision making. I'd like you to start picking groups for your final project, and then Module 2 for this week will contain the lecture for Health IT Project Management. There's also a discussion board where I'd like you to go out and make 2 posts and also 2 comments regarding stakeholder engagement and vendor selection. Please read the short chapter in the textbook, in the Glaser textbook, Ensuring IT-enabled gains in organizational performance, and there are also 2 slides here for a quick scavenger hunt. When you find the items, these aren't actually physical items, you'll just come up with the terms and then type them into the Canvas assignment box. Our learning objectives. First one is to identify the basic information science and technology concepts, methods and tools applicable to solving health informatics problems appropriate to the scope of the program. Second, analyze the support of health information systems, design approach, and evaluate planning methods. Third, apply social behavioral theories and human factors engineering to the design and evaluation of information systems and technology. And fourth, evaluate key workflow and management issues. Please introduce yourself to each other and include me, please. You can create a discussion board within Canvas. You can do it through web email. You can do it through Canvas email. However you would like to do it, but please share a little bit about yourself. If you're working in the field of health informatics, if you're from another program, just share a little bit about yourself, what your expectations are for this course, and what you're looking for. I would like you to start thinking about picking groups. You can have anywhere from 2 to 4 people in a final group for a final group project. Please make sure that you check Canvas. Everything we do will be in Canvas. Many times I will add updates through the announcements, and I will typically open up the next week's module several days ahead of time. Please utilize email within Canvas to reach me, or you may use webmail. That's the best way to reach me. I am looking to see if anybody would be interested in optional synchronous sessions via WebEx, and keep in mind that we are partners through this educational journey. So for our first learning objective, we're going to talk about data, information, knowledge, and wisdom. And so data is really our starting point. It's the numbers and letters, symbols, graphics. It doesn't really have any meaning until we put some context around that, and then it becomes information. And once we're able to make decisions on that information, it becomes knowledge. Once we put business rules around this data and information, then we get knowledge. And once we start using analytics or predictive analytics, then we have wisdom. For this course, you should be familiar with basic software and hardware. We're going to talk about standards within healthcare, so you should be familiar with common standards such as coding, ICD-10, SNOMED, LOINC. You definitely do not need to be a coder, and you do not need to have any of these codes memorized. You should be familiar with what the following are: databases, web, mobile, wearables, electronic medical records, and electronic health records, that should be EHR, revenue systems, clinical systems, research, public health, surveillance systems, such as those by the FDA, and regulatory, so things like policies and law. For our second learning objective, we're going to cover evaluation and measurement, and this is important when you're evaluating vendors for new informatics systems. You should be familiar with the Systems or Software Development Lifecycle, otherwise known as SDLC. There's many different methodologies here, anywhere from the waterfall, where we start with requirements and then we go through a design phase, to a development phase, a testing phase, and an implementation phase, to something that's a little more flexible, such as an agile methodology. Change management and change control, so making sure that all changes are documented and approved by all stakeholders, and having a structured change control process when we implement informatics systems. Get yourself familiar with applicable and current laws. I know that right now things are pretty much in flux, with the U.S. federal government, but if you go out to Health and Human Services or CMS.gov, HHS.gov, HIT.gov, familiarize yourself with the Affordable Care Act, high-tech, HIPAA, and other applicable rules. And we'll also cover project management in Module 2 this week. So let's start with a quick scavenger hunt. You do not actually need to find the physical objects here. I'd like you to just do some internet sleuthing, asking colleagues and peers, and find one of each, note it down, because after we go through the second scavenger hunt, you're going to type this into Canvas, or you can type it up into a Word doc and submit it as a Word doc. Find one of each: healthcare information technology law or policy, electronic medical record major vendor, relational database management system or platform, health information management exchange, controlled vocabulary or medical standards ontology. Our third learning objective, we're going to look a lot at the social determinants of health, because this is very important now as we move into a phase of healthcare where just about everyone is focused on population health. And a lot of this looks at what's called the biopsychosocial model of health, where it's not just physical health, but it's also looking at everything related to biological: disability, genetics, drug effects, temperament, IQ, social, so peers, family circumstances, school, family relationships and trauma, and psychological, self-esteem, coping skills, and social skills. And for our fourth learning objective, you should be familiar with what we call the RFP process. When an organization goes out to purchase a new software or technology system, they typically go through a request for proposal process. There's usually a steering committee that's put together that provides governance for the process. Many times there is a rubric, which is really just a set of weighted criteria, so that all vendors can be evaluated appropriately and fairly. Once a vendor is chosen, there's a statement of work, which is basically part of the contract, so that each side knows what the expectations are. It's something that becomes a legal contract. As health informaticians, many times we need to manage the vendor and make sure that everything is going according to the project management plan. And we also need to be aware of maintenance and support contracts, because these systems can be millions or billions of dollars, and we need to make sure that they are around for a long time. They're supported against things like cyber attacks, defects or bugs are fixed, and enhancements are added appropriately. The second part of our scavenger hunt, find one of each: a clinical data element in an electronic medical record, an administrative data element in a healthcare revenue system, and data or app for a social determinant of health, and then enter your list into Canvas. So let's take a look at information systems and the role of IT in understanding and managing cost in a healthcare system. In addition to scrutinizing cost details, Providers, such as hospitals and other healthcare delivery systems, will need to examine their definitions of what they consider to be populations and services. In a system that reimburses for value, it's much more critical to understand exactly how much it costs to deliver patient care. And comparable to the growth and meaningful use of electronic health records, from a clinical perspective, advanced cost accounting tools and techniques coupled with sophisticated revenue cycle features are really becoming critical for healthcare organizations so they remain competitive in the future. We need to make sure that we look at how current and how accurate are the data, and can our leaders in our health systems act on that information technology. The next IT revolution will be nearly ubiquitous computing. The term can be applied to what we call the fifth wave of IT revolution, which we're now entering. This wave has several characteristics. It's networked, powerful processes are almost everywhere and on almost anything. There's a diverse array of sensitive and specific sensors. There's massive amounts of data and novel methods for analyzing it. Software is delivered as a service, and a wide variety of collaboration, community, and knowledge resources. We develop sophisticated models and test hypotheses using large sets of data, orchestrate complex processes, deliver new services, such as those that are GPS enabled or location aware, and extend and enrich fundamental human activities such as being a member of a community and searching for information. So we're going to see much more artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning in healthcare that are actually around in retail environments today. Please make sure you go out to the discussion board for stakeholder engagement and vendor selection. Go out early and make 2 original posts, then come back later in the week and respond to 2 other posts or comments by the end of the week. For the next module, which will be week 1, module 2, we will move into health IT project management, which covers the project management life cycles from conception and initiation through definition and planning, launch or execution, performance and control, and project close. Thank you.